Hey guys, it's Annalisa and welcome to or back to my channel. So today's video I'm doing a story time, and I recently just saw Haley Fam's story time and I was like, let me do my own, because you know, not that it was similar, but I did have a bad experience at the airport, let me tell you. So I kind of want to give you guys some background information that goes along with this story. So prior to the trip, we went shopping just for a couple more pieces for our wardrobe. I somehow managed to lose my purse. It had my wallet, some money, my bank card. It was all bad, guys. Like, it was really bad. So that same day we went to the bank and I got a temporary card, and they were asking me if I wanted to get my bank card in like 2 days or in 4 to 6 business days. And I was like, 4 to 6 business days, you know, I don't need the card. I'm not taking like any money on the card for this trip. Little did I know that would backfire on me. So then we also did everything last minute. If you guys are planning on going to a trip, on a trip, do not wait till 2 weeks before to like pay for your ticket or anything like that. Plan months ahead, then pay for it. It'll be way cheaper that way. So we did the opposite and we did it last minute. Luckily, it was paid for. Somebody paid for us, and I'm very grateful for that. Then we went on to Sunday. It was the day we left. We left at about 1. So we were like getting there at 11 because we wanted to be early and just have 2 hours to like have some time and stuff. So our mom went inside with us to the airport because she didn't want us to go by ourselves, since it was our first time flying anywhere by ourselves. She had paid for our luggage to go under the plane, which had my brother's clothes and all of our toiletries, I think that's what it's called, and everything in it. So she paid for that, and then she said our goodbyes, and then we went through TSA and all that. So then we get on the plane, go to Seattle, spend a week there. The night before we leave to go back to Cali, we had this big suitcase, and that was the one that went under the plane case. And my uncle was like, oh, I have this smaller suitcase, do you guys want to just condense it down so you're not carrying this big old suitcase? I was like, no. Like, but my brother had ended up saying yes before I could say no. They ended up switching in. I was just kind of like not for it, because it was just like, what if mom and dad are not okay with us like leaving this here? They were fine with it. Basically, we condensed it down. Then that next day we planned to get up at 4:30, leave the house about 5, and then get to the airport around 5:15, 5:30. So that's exactly what we did. We left at 5 and then got there around 5:20, and he said our goodbyes. He's like, call me if you need anything, I will swoop back around like in a flash. And I was like, okay. So we left, we went to this kiosk. I don't know why, but it didn't register that we had to pay for our luggage to go back under the plane to California. We get to the kiosk or whatever, it says $30, and I was like, $30? And I'm just looking for like the cash, where to insert the cash at. It's only taking card, and I was like, Jesus, like what? So mind you, I was PMSing and I was about to start my period, if you guys don't know what that is. I just start crying because I was just like, no. And I'm like, okay, I do have my bank card. Let me try my temporary bank card that I chose not to get a real bank card. Don't know why. I was like, okay, let me try this. And it only had 28.53 cents, like $28.53 on there. And I remember that exactly. I feel like, I don't know why I remember that, but I do. I put it in and it was like, invalid, cannot read this card. And I was like, Mark, did you bring your card? And he was like, no. My Uncle Jarman said we could call him back anytime. And I was like, Mark, call Uncle Jarman. And he was like, okay. But then he ended up texting him or whatever. It was too early for Isaac. Isaac was out of it. Like, I asked him to go ask somebody if we could use their card and we'll pay them back in cash. He was like, nope. And then I was just like, what? And so I don't know why, but we ended up going to stand in this line, and I was like, go ask this guy, where do we pay with cash? I was like, Isaac, go do. He's like, why do you want me to do everything? Blah, blah, blah. So then we go to ask the guy, where do we pay for in cash? And he was like, oh, you go pay over there. We went to go stand in that line. I was like, this is too long. Like, what are we doing? So then I was like, forget it, forget it. So then we go around this corner and we just stop. And I'm just like, I don't know what to do. Like, I really just didn't know what to do. My brothers, I felt like, were looking to me to step up, because at the other airport I was like doing everything. I was being the mom, even though they don't want me to be their mom. I was low-key being the mom. So I guess that's what they wanted me to do. I was like, Mark, I need you to step up. Like, I can't do this. I'm over here bawling my eyes out, and I'm just like, no, I can't. He's like, why are you crying? Like, all this stuff, and we were just like arguing. I was like, okay, you know what, Mark, you go get the boarding passes, and we'll switch over the, you know, the suitcases. That was either me or Mark. I think it was me though. I think he might have said it though. So we did, and we went over and switched the suitcases. And as I was opening the suitcase that we needed to switch, why did it click that the reason why we were putting this under was because of the toiletries and stuff that we had? And I was like, we're gonna have to leave all this stuff here. And like my brain, and Isaac was like, we're gonna have to leave all this stuff here. And I'm like, yes, like, just like, obviously. And then like, so I put all the stuff in the other suitcase because he's not helping me. And then I go back to help Mark get the boarding passes, because I don't know what the heck he was doing. So we get the boarding passes, and then we get to TSA. By the time we get to TSA, it's like 5:45. The TSA line was like long, and any of you guys that know about, you know, anything to do with that, at least takes like a good 30 minutes to go through that. So I guess we went through it or whatever. It was okay, it wasn't that long. And by the time we get up to like the getting everything through, our luggage gets declined. And I was just like, man, if anything else can go wrong today, like what? So basically the guy was checking it, pulls out a lotion, and he's like, oh, you can't bring this on here. And I'm like, okay. And then I start crying even more. He zips it. I'm helping him zip it back up because I was like, we don't have time for this. So then we end up leaving, and then we had to take a train to our gate, and it was about probably 6:15. It took us a good like 30 minutes to get, you know, done with that whole process. So then we're walking up to our gate, and Mark was like, do you guys want something to eat? And we're like, yeah. But I was like, okay, let me go to the restroom really quick, and then me and Isaac, when I get back from the restroom, me and Isaac can go get something to eat, and you can sit with our luggage. That was the plan. I don't know if you caught that, but it was the plan. So then I went to the bathroom, I did my business or whatever, and I came out, and I looked at myself in the mirror, and my eyes were like bloodshot. When I tell you how red they were so red. And I was like, oh my gosh, like everybody's been looking at me with red eyes. I go back to our gate, and I'm looking at my brothers, and they're standing up walking to this lady, and I'm like, what? Like, what are they doing? They're like, we need the boarding passes when I finally get up there. And I was like, already? Like, we're leaving already? And she's like, oh yeah, we board like at least like a good 30 minutes before the plane leaves. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, I had totally forgot that we had to leave so early. Like, we had to board earlier than our flight left, because we all thought since our flight left at like 7 something, it would be good to get there at 5 something. And then I looked, and I was like, oh my gosh, like nobody even looked at the boarding passes. It was nothing but God that we got there on time. Like, because if we would have stopped for food, if we would have did anything else, we would have never made it. And it was like, what? So then we get on the plane, and I'm over here still crying. Like, I don't know why. I'm like, we made it on the plane, but I'm still crying. I'm over here, like all this stuff. And it was a lot, guys. It was a lot. Here's some post-airport story. They did call me back about my luggage, I think, but I never answered because I think I was in school or something, and I just never answered. So I think somebody did find my luggage, because I ended up leaving a paper in the luggage that had my name and my number and stuff. So I think somebody did find it, but I tried calling back, and it never, you know, went through and never worked, and I was just like, it wasn't, you know, it wasn't for the good. My brother ended up texting my cousin Jarman, not my uncle Jarman. That's why he didn't come back. But it was good that he didn't come back, because the line for the, like, to put your luggage under was so long. If we ended up sitting in that line, we would have missed our flight. It was an interesting experience. I know what to do next time. Take my advice, take this video, and don't make the same mistakes that I did if you're about to travel. And yeah, so if you guys enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, comment down below what you guys want to see next, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.